Welcome to Week in Geek, your new comics preview for February 6th. I'm Mike Ortiz.
I'm the Chris Brown.
What do you got?
Well, I'm going to just pull the Band-Aid off real quick so it hurts less. I'm just going to yank it off, and I might scream a little and cry like a little girl, but... my first pick is Superior Spider-Man #3.
I'm surprised you're even giving attention to this.
You know what? You got to own up when you make mistakes, and I've been incredibly stupid lately, so I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna throw it out there. I'm mad and I'm whiny, but I'm gonna admit that I was reading it because I was like, well, if I'm gonna be that mad and whiny, maybe I should look at it. And then I didn't hate issue 2.
Okay.
There was parts of it that if this was just a story arc, I think that's what the whole thing comes down to. I think to get to where Dan Slott got us, basically to get to what he was able to do in issue 2, he had to write some terrible stories. I don't think he had to, but he did. I don't know if he chose to, but that's the way it ended up. Like 698 through Superior #1, I thought were very disappointing. And then #2, he addressed a lot of the issues that I was concerned about. There were, again, the no means no issue. That was kind of, he sort of addressed that. And Doc Ock realizes, well, no, she's not in love with me. This is Parker's nonsense. I'm out of here. But I'm still even more of the belief that Peter is just confused and thinks he's Dr. Octopus. He's got all this influx of memories, and he thinks he's Doc Ock, because Doc Ock's plan ultimately was to switch brains. So if he has the memory of that, then that's what he thinks happened. We shall see.
Yeah, I mean,
otherwise it's just a really bad Ghost in the Machine story.
I think that's a very strong possibility, and that does just mean a lot of the problems that people have with it are because they haven't seen the end of the story yet.
Right. So we're whining for no reason. So I decided to not whine for no reason.
And I did hear an interview with Dan Slott, and basically the idea of doing this did come long before the idea of relaunching the book.
Yeah, I've heard that as well.
That this basically, had it not been for Marvel now happening, then that would basically be Spider-Man 702, which I think people would be a little bit easier to deal with.
Correct, because they would all just expect it to go back anyway. But you're like, you gave us a new adjective?
Yeah.
And I admit, I also got mad at the new adjective. Right. I was very upset, but yeah.
But that just kind of solidifies it even more that it's going to go back to the old adjective before too long.
I'm pretty sure it will.
It's just, will they get a new #1?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, why not? And then you'll go back to that after time, the way they did with the Straczynski relaunch. Well, when he took over, and he took over the numbers.
An inferior Spider-Man at some point? I don't know.
Honestly, I should have made jokes about that before. That would have been good, like 2 months ago.
Damn.
My next pick here is All New X-Men #7. I love this book. I love an X-Men book. Holy crap. I love an X-Men book with a really dumb premise. That's actually been done really, really well. I think they're doing some cool things in here. I like the idea of having Jean back. I like the method of having Jean back. Yeah. All these things have happened. She's struggling with the fact that it happened. Young Cyclops is sort of in a weird spot. Nobody wants to deal with him because old Cyclops is a jerk.
Yeah.
Okay. I think Bendis is doing a great job. In issue 7, really? When did the first issue come out? Like December?
Yeah.
November? Wow. Holy cow. They're just hammering right out, and I think that's good. When they eventually go to the monthly format, I'm going to be confused and lost. I'm not going to know what to do. Then I'm looking at another book, hammering out the numbers here.
Yeah.
This is Avengers #5. This is the Jonathan Hickman book. This is art by Adam Kubert. The first 3 issues, I thought, it didn't give me everything I wanted from Hickman. I expected weird threads and things to be set up and to happen. And then that happened in issue 4. And I thought, oh my goodness, this is fantastic. I really, really liked it. And so many people, I talked to other folks who said, that was the end sort of wrapped up pretty easy in that issue 3. Well, issue 4, they get back to, remember, they did launch things down to Earth from Mars. Oh. So they were kind of fighting those things in issue 4, and I thought it was great. I thought it was a nice way to kind of branch off. And no, the story is not over yet. It looked like it was, and it looked like it petered out in 3 issues, which was weird. But yeah, it was fantastic. Yeah. I think he's doing a great job there, and I really, really enjoy that book. Slip one around here. Now I got New Avengers by Jonathan Hickman. This is the Illuminati book. This is your Black Panther, Namor, Reed Richards, Black Bolt, Iron Man, Captain America, Doctor Strange, and Professor X used to be, but he's currently deceased, having been killed by jerkface Scott Summers. So they've basically, in the last issue, in issue 2, they decided they needed all the Infinity Gems, and they've now got to try and find, Professor X's.
Oh, yeah.
So that's where they're going now, is to try and find these gems. I think it's been a cool book. It's idea of Illuminati written by Hickman. Love it.
It's the Manhattan Project, but in the Marvel Universe.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, that's certainly what S.H.I.E.L.D. was, and I think now he's just going to soup it up a little bit more.
Maybe he'll finish this one.
Yeah, maybe. That would be nice. Then I'm looking...
I knew you were going to get this.
Well, because I've got a crush on Misty Knight. I've got the Fearless Defenders #1. Anytime there's a new Misty Knight book, I'm like, I'll look at it. And it usually starts out really, really good, and then the writer doesn't know where they're going.
And then it gets canceled.
Right. I really hope that doesn't happen here. This is written by, Cullen Bunn? Is it Cullen Bunn? Yeah. Art by Wills. Oh, man, I'm going to screw that up. Sliney or Slinny. I'm sure that...
Never heard of him.
I'm sure that got a lot of ridicule when he was a child. I'm sure it turned into all kinds of things. The art looks good. It's, Valkyrie and Misty Knight, and it looks like they're fighting the Hand and zombies.
Well, you were reading that Valkyrie Fearless or Fear Itself.
I was, and I liked it. That was pretty good. So I'll check that out. And again, honestly, Misty Knight.
Yeah, that's Misty.
Then I'm looking at Harbinger Zero. This is supposed to, I think, shoot off into that Harbinger Wars, right? Like, this is supposed to kind of start setting the stage for some of that. And it's Valiant. It's Zero. Good for them. They have to. I don't know why they wouldn't.
Yeah.
So I think this Harbinger book has been really, really strong so far. In the consecutive numbers, they've started to introduce the rest of the team. You got Flamingo and Torque, and like I said, I think this is going to go back and maybe it looks like some, is that the Bleeding Monk? Maybe they're going to explain the Bleeding Monk and other things with Harada. So it's been cool. I think this new Valiant universe has been pretty awesome.
Cool.
Then I'm looking at Great Pacific #4. Oh, I think I missed the title too. I'm looking at my stack and I'm missing one. So I think I'll just have to maybe, after Great Pacific 4 here, I'm going to go back and do one without having it in my stack. Great Pacific #4, this book has been really, really fun. It's a guy basically trying to, he's declared himself his known island state, the state of some form of Texas. But there's other people that live there. He's not the only one on this particular garbage island. And there's some adventures and such. I do not believe I've read issue 3, so I am an issue behind. But I like where it's going. The artwork, I think, is really, really cool. And I dig that one. The one that I missed, apparently, and I don't know how I'm a little embarrassed at myself. I just completely overlooked it. Shadow Man #4. Another one of these Valiant books that I think has been pretty good. It's not the Shadow Man that I loved in the 90s. It's quite a bit different. They're trying to build a different sort of voodoo lore, but I believe we're starting to get more of Master Dark in this one, which should be pretty fun. I kind of wish I had it in my stack to flip through and look at how cool and pretty it looked. But it's not one of my favorite Valiant titles right now. I mean, that's probably either Exo Man War or Harbinger. I want to love Shadow Man, though, and I'm hoping once they get past their first story arc and get us into the battle between Master Dark and Jack Boniface and the Shadow Man, I'm hoping they get it going. So, jumping back into what's actually in the stack. Blackacre #3. This book has been pretty cool. It kind of reminds me a little bit of, what was it? Was it Land of the Dead? The Romero zombie movie where all the rich people lived in kind of the walled-off tower. This sort of happens. People are buying up property and they're supposed to be doing one thing, and the rich people end up kind of walling themselves off and from the rest of civilization. And then when civilization completely, erodes, they're living the high life, and they've got soldiers and, the lesser, classes. They still have a hierarchy in there. And they take one of these soldiers who's just kind of graduated from his class, and they say, well, you need to go back and get this other guy who's out in the wastelands. We sent him on a mission. You got to go get him. Give him this message. Well, they sent him to kill the other guy. He discovers this when, some natives in the wasteland area, pick him up and accidentally set off the bomb. So now what? Now what's going to happen here? He perhaps knows that his people were trying to kill him. And I don't know if this is an ongoing or a mini or what. But
I didn't say anything about being a mini.
I sort of dig it. It's been cool. That's the bulk of my stack there.
Well, I'm going to start off with Hit Girl number 5. This has been a solid book. Takes place between Kick-Ass and Kick-Ass 2. When last we left off, I'm not exactly sure where last we left off. Okay, there we are. I remember now. It's been a while with these. Hit Girl basically every issue has ended with Hit Girl is in danger. And then it starts off with then Hit Girl kills all the people who were threatening her. In this case, her and her family, which is probably a really bad idea. Yeah, it doesn't take her long to get rid of all of the people who are threatening her family. So that's what this book is. It's Hit Girl taking care of business. It also is covering a little bit of Red Mist, who had changed his name to something we can't say on a family show. And it's a little bit of his journey to become an evil Batman, traveling the world, learning martial arts, and all those things. But yeah, if you're a fan of the Kick-Ass comics, this fits right in there. Huh. Next up, Daredevil: End of Days. This has been a really solid book. It is Ben Urich's quest to find out what the meaning of Daredevil's last words were. So he's basically been going on a little trek through the Daredevil universe, meeting Elektra, Bullseye, a lot of the people who he's had dealings with in the past.
It's Daredevil Kane.
Yeah. Daredevil Kane. It's also been compared to the Dark Knight.
Okay.
As kind of like it's set in some sort of distant, near future that looks, a lot like the present.
But a little less radical than Dark Knight.
Yes. Though. This could be like this happens next year in the comics,
right.
Not 10 years after Batman's retired. Daredevil hasn't been retired. It looks like the Punisher is factoring into this one. So yeah, it's a kind of a little who's who. Remember Marvel used to do those The End books?
Yeah.
So it's basically one of those. The final kind of the final Daredevil tale, even though Daredevil supposedly dies before this happens, but there's also a figure whose silhouette looks remarkably like Daredevil's that's been sort of tailing Ben Urich. But yeah, good Bendis stuff. It's got Klaus Janson on pencils, Bill Sienkiewicz on art, so it's great stuff. They've been working on this book for years. Next up, Think Tank number 5. Where we left off last time, our main character had escaped from the government think tank that he was a part of, but it turns out that his girlfriend is actually working for the government, and even though he doesn't realize it, he still is too. In his attempt to break out of this government facility, he winds up field testing a lot of equipment and coming up with some new things. So basically, he's still part of the military-industrial complex. He just doesn't know it anymore, and he thinks he's on his own. Really, really clever book. I didn't see the twist coming. I'm kind of curious how this is gonna play out. So a lot of fun. Next up, Snapshot by Andy Diggle and Jock. I know nothing about this book.
Andy Diggle and Jock sounds good enough.
Yeah, I mean, I know I've had some issue with Andy Diggle on some of his stuff.
As long as he's not doing superheroes, he's probably okay.
This team did a great job on The Losers many, many years ago. It's a black and white book. Jock's artwork is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Really, I would have picked it up just for that. It's in black and white. It looks like a very film noir. We've got people with guns all over the place.
Looked like a Watchmen reference in there real quickly,
really?
Too. Yeah.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Looked like someone was turning a closed sign on a storefront. In the O was a smiley face with looked like a blood splotch on it.
Actually, this there's some this
was it a comic shop?
Set in a comic book store.
There you go.
So there we go. But yeah, now yesterday I did read the plot of this. Some guy who works at a comic book store finds a cell phone, and on the cell phone are snapshots of a murder victim.
Oh.
So it's kind of a noir murder mystery with cell phones and comic books. So that sounds good to me.
Somewhere in between True Romance and that bad Kim Basinger movie.
Yeah, that's a great high concept pitch. Next up, Earth 2 number 9. Looks like this one's going to focus on the Flash. We've been basically the team got together, saved the world, and then really stopped being a team. It looks like we're still kind of piecing this together. Oh, we've got cool. Wotan and Nabu. This might be the beginning of the introduction of the new Dr. Fate, which would be kind of interesting. So yeah, the Atom who works for the government is trying to go after the rest of the members of the team, which is still really not a team. But okay, looks like we've got a little bit of magic in this one. Slowly cool. They are reintroducing all of the classic elements of Earth 2 into the new Earth 2. with their decidedly different takes. Next up, Scarlet, number 6.
Holy cow! Who'd have thunk?
This has been forever, and since that miniseries came out, the first 5 issues came out, a lot has changed in the world. You know, we had the whole Occupy movement, which really kind of mirrored what was going on here very well. So I'm curious to see how they address that. We've still got some gorgeous artwork by Alex Maleev. This is really great stuff. This was a really good book. It had that strange kind of breaking the third wall, or the fourth wall rather, that was going on. Plus a very nice, interesting political story, a very political message. Bendis is really good at this stuff. I mean, he writes great superheroes, but he also writes real people pretty well too. So the guy's got a lot of chops when it comes to books where people talk a lot. His fight scenes aren't that great, but a lot of people talking in here. But this was a really, really good book the first time around, so I'm curious to see what they do with it now.
Right on.
That's my stack.
All right, well, I guess that'll bring me to the top of my stack here. I'm looking at the absolutely gorgeous Dia de los Muertos here. This is issue number 1. It's a $4.99 book. It's done in the Golden Age style, and it is rather awesome artwork. Mm-hmm. We've got 3 different stories in here. One by Alex Slink, one by Christopher E. Long, and the third story is by Dirk Manning, who I like. Met him on the convention circuit, and really good dude. I'm excited to see his team up here with Riley, because this artwork looks fantastic.
Great colors, beautiful book.
Oh yeah, I like seeing Riley in the Golden Age format, the way they kind of have the Cowboy Ninja Viking. I mean, you really get to see the artwork, and oh man, this is maybe the best stuff I've ever seen from him.
Wow,
I love Bedlam and I love what he's doing there, but some of this stuff looks freaking fantastic. So that's my top pick.
Nice smelling comic too.
Yeah, it smells like paper and all that paper and ink. Mmm. So yeah, this is it's a $4.99 comic, and it looks like you really get some decent bang for your buck. It looks like it's pretty thick there too. So just a poundage alone, I think you're doing okay.
My top is actually a surprise even to me.
I kind of looked at that, and when you stopped, I was like, "Is that that's the top?" Oh, okay.
Because sometimes my top pick is the one that I'm strangely most curious for, and it's Green Arrow number 17. This is a new creative team. This is Jeff Lemire and Andrea Sorrentino. I'm not a big fan of Green Arrow. I tried it with the New 52 relaunch, was not particularly impressed.
Tried it with Ann Nocenti.
I actually skipped the Ann Nocenti stuff because I wasn't a big fan of the artist on that. I've been enjoying the Arrow TV show somewhat. It's not a great show. It's no Smallville, which is probably an insult. But it's all right. It's just kind of a weird perfect storm, being slightly more interested in Green Arrow because of the TV show. Jeff Lemire has been getting a lot of attention for his DC stuff, and I've really yet to try it. I did read his stuff on Justice League Dark. I read Animal Man for a while, but kind of dropped off from that because it really wasn't kind of clicking with the Animal Man that I really liked. So I figured I'll give him a shot here, and Andrea Sorrentino was actually the artist on I, Vampire, which was a book that I actually liked quite a bit, but then just kind of got behind on. But the art on it was absolutely fantastic.
It does look pretty cool.
So I figured that combination of an artist that I think is fantastic, a new direction for a character. This is a lot of people have said this basically is almost like an issue number 1. That they're kind of like a fresh new start for the character.
Looks like with the art, it's kind of got a Hawkeye feel with a little more color.
Yeah. So I think they're actually making
Are they taking him street level?
A little bit more street level, a little bit grittier. So DC has shown that when some of the New 52 stuff isn't working, they're willing to kind of retool it. And a lot of people may complain about that, but in this instance, I think they've had a hard time finding someone that clicks. Hopefully, it'll be Jeff Lemire. So. I was kind of surprised, but what the hell? And I'm really curious. They've had sort of 2 swings and a miss on this book so far. Will they strike out or bunt?
This kind of is their last real shot at trying to make this work
if
here.
You can't make this work now when there is a relatively successful TV show on, then it's time to just pack Green Arrow away.
And the fun thing about that one, too, is that's got a blank cover this week, too.
Blank covers, So I figure give it a shot. If you've tried it before and it didn't work, this is clearly a very different take. If you like the TV show, give it a shot. If you really want some absolutely fantastic artwork, if this doesn't work, I hope they put this guy on something else because I was really missing that artwork.
Yeah, it's nice
on iVampire. So that's my top pick.
And with that, that is your Week in Geek.